Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we are live. Hello and welcome to Talk Chef. I'm one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And we have an incredibly special guest today, the wonderful performer, comedian, actress, Ariel Gitlin.
Hi, everyone. This is so exciting.
Ariel, you're so cool. So happy to have you.
Oh my God, that's the first time I've heard that in a while.
Can't be true. Can't be true. Now, Ariel, we love to gauge whether people were Top Chef fans before we bring them on, but you told me this was your first episode ever.
This was my first episode of Top Chef that I have ever watched.
Virgin.
Yeah, Virgin. Virgin.
Yeah. We're gonna bully you.
Yeah, kind of bring Ariel in the chat.
I popped my Top Chef.
Yeah, your
cherry today.
Luxardo cherry.
Yeah. Luxardo cherry Glad.
Yeah.
Honda SUV challenge. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, before we get started, Ariel, a couple orders of business. Guys, as you know, this is a food charity-based live stream. So every season we try to raise money for a different food-based charity. Last season, incredibly, we raised over $3,000. I'll pull up the exact figure right now.
Sick, absolutely.
We raised $3,483.66 for farm worker justice.
Insane.
Thank you so much. We even got a debut song from Trixie Mattel, so that was kind of an incredible freaking night. So stay tuned for another fundraiser night. Second order of business, Ariel, is actually something we didn't tell you, which is just like every episode of Top Chef has a quick fire, so does every episode of Talk Chef.
Oh my goodness.
And guess what? It's not cooking related, and nor is it going to happen in the middle of the episode, like on this episode. It is all Ariel food preference based.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So in case you're kind of like, how long do I get? What are you talking about, Reka? Let me brief you.
Yeah, please.
I'm going to give you 45 seconds, which is the fastest quickfire in all Top Chef history. 45 seconds to answer 10 questions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Classic Ariel stuff. You're thinking, I'm out. I'm leaving. This sucks. Jordan sucks. Also related, Reka sucks. But
related. Yeah, we're related to each other.
Oh my God, you guys can read my mind.
I know. I know you. I know what you're thinking. But hold on, hear me out, because there's some prizes at stake here.
Okay.
Here are the prizes. Number one, you can win a deed to the Terlato wine vineyard.
Ever heard of it?
No.
Good. Neither have we. It's a wine that sponsored multiple seasons of Top Chef and seems to be unpurchasable by humans. Reka and I have tried to buy it. You cannot get it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you will win a deed to that entire vineyard if you win this.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Sorry, just kind of feeling answers about the sort of quick fire in the middle of the episode today.
See, I did gather that they thought there's usually a quick fire. They thought there wasn't going to be, and then surprise, there was.
Surprise, puppy, surprise, there was one. So the second prize you could win is your own personal suite of broken GE kitchen appliances, just like you see in the show. So we're talking an oven that doesn't get up to temp, a fryer that doesn't get up to temp, a refrigerator door that doesn't close, a pressure
perfect
that explodes. All of that could be yours, Ariel, if you answer these 10 questions in 45 seconds.
Listen, a broken GE appliance is probably better than what I'm working with. So I'm looking forward to this.
We have a fan. We have a GE fan here. So I really like that. And by the way, your appliances won't have a fan in it. They'll get really hot.
Really hot.
Explode, yeah. So Ariel, I will start your timer right here for 45 seconds after Jordan finishes asking question 1. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
If you go to a barbecue restaurant and you get a combo plate that comes with 2 meats and 2 sides, what are the 2 meats and what are the 2 sides?
Okay. Pulled pork is one of the meats. The other meat is like whatever chicken they have, maybe a drumstick. And then the sides are going to go ahead and be a green and then a macaroni and cheese. And that's it.
What state do you think people should not mess with other than Texas?
Oh, Rhode Island, because that's where I'm from.
Do you like brisket?
I do love brisket.
Have you ever been to Texas?
I have not been to Texas.
Did you like watching Top Chef?
I loved it.
What is your signature dish?
Pasta with mushrooms in it.
What do you think is the best food city in the world?
Florence, Italy.
How is food like comedy?
Because I'm okay at both.
Okay, you came very close to winning, but that was a great answer. Incredible answer.
Out of curiosity, Ariel, because I feel like many people, maybe just me, but I'll say many, don't know a ton about Rhode Island food. Would you say it's like a dish or a restaurant you gotta go to if you're in Rhode Island?
If you're in Rhode Island, you have to be eating seafood.
Okay.
And you're probably going to want a well, you can get like stuffed quahogs and stuff. Like, don't know what that is, like, but they did name the Town and Family Guy. Yeah. Off
Is
of it.
that meaningful to you?
Sure. But I probably like a lobster roll in Rhode Island. And then I don't have a specific restaurant, but also you have to try coffee milk in Rhode Island. It's like I don't know if you all are familiar, but it's like chocolate milk, strawberry milk, whatever, coffee milk. It's coffee flavored.
You guys have a specific type of hot dog? Or where am I thinking of? I saw Ina Garten eat a certain type of hot dog one time that was called, or no, maybe it was Alex Guarnaschelli. It's called like a Ripper or something.
I'm gonna Google this right now.
Wait, maybe I don't even know.
Okay, Ariel, true or false? And I don't actually have the answer. Rhode Islanders, well, we may say hot dogs, Rhode Islanders say weenies.
Not in my house.
As a rule, not in my fucking house.
Yeah.
We've never called it a weenie, but maybe.
If you guys call it a weenie, drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
And if you call anyone else in your life a weenie, drop it in the chat.
And tell us who they are. Tell us who they are.
Yeah. Name names.
Yeah. I think my computer just died for good. So I'm in the mood to start drama. Also, as I said, Kendall is not in the chat. That is me, because as we tried to log on to this episode, my computer, I think, died forever, ? So now I'm on Kendall's computer. So it's me, it's not Kendall. So just everyone.
Please everyone take note. And Jordan, just to kind of make it easier on people, if you could kind of sign each of your notes, like love Jordan.
Jordan, yeah. Jordan. Okay, I'll do that. I just had to say it again so everyone knew if they're in the chat, it's not Kendall, it's in fact me.
Kendall Landreth account hacked.
Yeah, technically I have hacked Kendall.
Help. Awesome. So let's dive into this challenge. We start off 2 episodes in a row where they're basically like not doing a quick fire. And this one they didn't explicitly say there's no quick fire, but we're not getting one so far. So the challenge is the sort of Restaurant Wars of Texas, which is like a barbecue challenge that everyone expects it. There's gonna be one. Here it is today.
Sure.
So they have to smoke and barbecue brisket and serve it to a bunch of famous pit masters. And they have these gorgeous smokers that kind of look like big metal long cows. Thoughts? Drop it in the chat if you think it looks like a long cow.
Okay.
And they're doing their thing with that, and then they get 12 hours, which they're all like, that's a long time. So you know something fucking's gonna happen.
Sure.
And so when they get back from like the grocery store, or get back from like the smoking cow, there's a twist. Psych, Brooke Williamson and freaking Tom Colicchio are there and say there is no quick fire. We thought there was no quick fire, but there is a quick fire, and it is to make Texas toast. So they tell an adorable little story about the origin of Texas toast being that the bread was too thick. The guy wanted too many toppings. It was too thick.
When I worked at Trader Joe's, as a crew member, we sold Texas toast, and then like they used to sell like a bagged bread of Texas toast at Trader Joe's, and then they canceled it while I was working there, and people were furious, and they let me know for sure.
And can I ask, was that bread seasoned, or was it simply bread that was cut super thick?
It was like just thick potato bread. I mean, it was like incredible. I could eat a whole row, like a whole row. Is that what it's called? But I don't think it was seasoned.
I think it's funny how they say crew members for Trader Joe's because it reminds me of how like people who work at Disney who play one of the characters will be like, I'm friends with Ariel.
Yep. They're all in the cast and they are. Well, I'll tell you all the inside we can do a whole separate stream on Trader Joe's.
Okay.
My boss Mickey and my work wife Goofy.
Yeah.
I think I'm hanging out with my friend Pickled tonight.
Yeah, very crazy.
Incredible. So yeah, they gotta make Texas toast, which is basically like super thick cut bread, kind of fancy toppings, whatever you like. Whoever wins gets immunity, huge, and $10,000. So
just Rachel letting you know that immunity is huge in case you didn't know that.
Hey, we might have people be sleeping on immunity now, you know.
You're right, Rachel.
It's a really big deal. To me it is when I've won it. So here are the dishes that we get. Beep boop bop. Here's what we got. Evelyn made lemon cream stuffed Texas toast with spiced pecans and boozy strawberries. What the absolute hell? So Ariel, we usually just do like a thumbs up, thumbs down. The criteria truly couldn't be looser. Does it sound good to you? Does it sound like a dish that should be on Top Chef? Does it fit the challenge? Whatever you like.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, I like the sound of a boozy strawberry.
Yes. Okay, Jay made shrimp and lobster toast with pickled vegetables. That sounds very good to me.
Yum.
My only issue, and I know okay, I'm not trying to hurt your family, Jordan, but I know you can't see this picture, and that's okay because it's just what we got to work with here, and that's kind of the low tech charm of our show. The bread is quite thin. I kind of wanted the bread to be a little thicker. That's all.
Fine. Since it's not about the shrimp, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I would never say something about the shrimp. I don't want, your family means the world to me.
Thank you. Ariel, I love shrimp. As a new guest to the show, I love shrimp, and that's something to know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm a huge fan of your TikTok series. I say that completely serious. I watch every single video and I get so excited when there's a new one. So I actually probably knew that you liked shrimp.
That is so sweet. I've had such crippling anxiety recently that truly every person that's ever met me, including when I was a child, hates me. Still to this day and like actively thinks about it. So that feels great to hear. So I really appreciate that.
Knew when they were a child, please drop it in the chat that you love them.
I've known you for a couple of years and I really don't feel that way about you. I really actually like you. So
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I didn't mean to accidentally fish, but this does feel good and I love it.
It's been a tough time.
In my mid-20s, you could say my brain wasn't totally formed and I still like you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love it.
Okay. I love that. Thank you. Okay, on to the next dish. Thank you, everyone.
Ashley made Texas toast pizza roll-ups with tomato basil sauce. Yeah, sure.
This had melted cheese all over it. I was down to eat it. When he first showed them, it was like they were like, "What?" Because it just looked like something I would make when I was drunk.
And
right?
I know that you can't see this. It does straight up look crazy. It's like 3 cylinders standing up. It's really messy. And I'll eat it. Okay.
Same.
But then made strawberry and raspberry mille-feuille with whipped ricotta. Now,
was that the thin one?
It's thin. It's 3 layers. 2 people did a mille-feuille. But this was more successful. Now here's
okay. I like this one. I did not like the mushroom one.
Listen.
Okay.
I got a thesis. This looked good, but I just think it is not Texas toast. I'm all for making a layered dessert, but pick a dessert whose principle is having a thick something. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do hear you. I don't like when they fundamentally do the thing wrong without being creative about it. Like I'm like, if it's a twist, sell it to me as a twist. But if you're just like, normally it's thick, but I do it thin because I don't know. I'm like, that doesn't interest me.
What I got from it is that they were trying to make it thin in order to make one big thick.
Which
but
cool, but to me, you gotta have a high proportion of bread. That's the like ultimate point of it being thick.
Yeah.
So the integrity of Texas toast is sort of lost. Even if you were to use something else that like kind of replicated the idea of the toast, as long as it's like a thick, crunchy something, I'm down. So I
also would like to know, if for people to drop in the chat, and also for y'all, where are people eating Texas toast? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking when you say it, my mind comes to that frozen bagged one that everyone knows that's great, and then also Sonic. Those are the first two things that I think of. What do other people associate with Texas toast?
I associate the frozen thing. That's basically like garlic bread to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Super thick.
Yeah, like a thick, delicious bread, just like with something on top of it. Which is why the one that won, I was like,
good.
I get it. Yeah. But like, how good would a thick croissant bread be? Like, and instead they made it like so thin.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, and it's upsetting. Okay. Moving on. Nick made Texas toast BLT with pancetta and cheese. This looked awesome.
This looks like so good.
This is the thing where like a BLT, is that the most interesting creative thing? Maybe not. But one, I think a lot of people kind of whiffed. And two, he did a really good version of it. So
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong one, not the salt lick one. I gave it a thumbs down by accident. Sorry.
The salt, and maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm never wrong. Let's find out. Okay. I'm often wrong, actually. So Luke made focaccia Texas toast with crawfish and chorizo emulsion, pancetta, and herb salad. This looks good.
Looks good.
Crawfish emulsion sounds really tasty to me.
I get this weird thing where like when someone I don't like does a thing that's even remotely associated with me, I get irritated. Where like if someone I don't know goes to New Orleans on vacation, that irritates me, which is crazy because I don't own the city of New Orleans, even though it's where I'm originally from. But like, and that's how I felt about Luke, boring Luke, Noma, fancy chef using crawfish. I was like, excuse me, sir, that's mine. That's not for you.
I get that way about Harry Styles. So I understand.
Like when people use them properly.
Yeah.
Like, so if someone you don't like posts a picture of a Harry Styles, does that make you feel angry?
Kind of. It makes me feel like I don't, it's a gatekeep thing, I think, but I'm just like, oh, I feel like if you like Harry Styles, you should be like cool and nice.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think it's gatekeeping. I think if someone's like rude and bad, I don't want them in a place that I like or thinking about a person I like or whatever. It's like when you have a friend that you really like, but they have a friend or some friends or like a boyfriend that really sucks. Do you know what I mean?
In this example, shrimp is the friend. Harry Styles is the friend. I'm with you. I get this. I'm trying to think if I have something like that. I'm like, everyone likes Frasier, so that's just like, you know, I'm gonna catch a lot of flies.
Okay, but Reka, what if someone you really hated? Think of someone you really hate.
And it came immediately. Yeah, absolutely.
I knew it did. So you're thinking of the person you really hate, and then
okay.
Wait, what?
Two came to mind.
Oh, I love that. Think if they like started if they posted stuff about or if you saw them wearing a Frasier t-shirt.
Here's the thing. I think I might need to pick a different property because I would just be like, you don't get it.
You're simply too confident.
I think you're just a better person than us.
No, maybe. I'm not. I'm really petty. The two people I'm thinking, I'm like, stand back.
Let the real adults play.
Yeah, let the real adults play here. Season 1, episode 1. You can wait outside. Okay. Okay. So the Damar made pizza toast with buffalo mozzarella, anchovies, white anchovies, capers, and Kalamata olives.
Num 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 num.
Right. Slight complaint. Thicker bread. Just give me some thick ass bread.
They all did kind of a slender,
I know, they're
body bread that I was not a fan of.
I would say all of these slices of bread looked like regular slices of bread, or maybe even, dare I say, the thin sandwich kind of bread for people that are like, well, I'm eating 2 slices, so can each just be 70 calories instead of like one big one that's like 140?
Ew.
Ew. I've made a lot of mistakes with that bread. If I'm buying that bread, it means it's like I'm having a bad week mentally.
Absolutely.
That bread does kind of bum me out.
It's sad because it's like this big. It looks like a charm bracelet charm of a piece of bread.
It makes my sandwich, I feel, sort of worse.
Absolutely.
Okay, Monique made milfoy, I can't do it, with orange blossom buttercream. And then, in a panic move, she added glazed mushrooms.
That was a I don't watch this show. Well, I do now, but that was a crazy move.
I don't know exactly what was happening. I got a little like, Jordan and I are sort of Franco-phobes.
Franca haters.
Francophobes when it comes to
Frankensteins.
Yeah, we're Frankensteins, young hot Frankensteins.
Young hot Frankensteins. Rika and I hate Europe. I'll say it, especially France. I think that I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm white. I can say it. I think we hate Europe. It's bad. No, just the infatuation that people have with Europe and European cuisine and being like, oh, French food is like the mother of all food. And I'm like, wait, French food has been around so much less time than a lot of other cuisines that aren't white.
Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me for saying Italy and my quick fire?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were going to bring that up at the end.
Okay. I need to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, French food gets exalted. We've talked about this so much. And like, I get a little like, when there's a challenge that's kind of like, cook this sort of like, this simple dish that can be elevated. And it's like, let me rephrase. When people are trying to insert French techniques because they're like, well, I'm French trained. And it's like, hey, that doesn't mean it applies to every challenge, but you sort of feel it does because it's the fancy way to cook. And it's like a bit of like a golden handcuff situation. Like it might really behoove you in a lot of situations, but in so many, I think I'm using golden handcuffs wrong. I am. But it also shoots people in the foot because they'll be like, try to Frenchify something like this. And it's like, so you tried to make this like layered pastry with the bread that was cut really thin. And the slice of it was almost like the thickness of a regular slice of bread. Like it was so small. And so it was a dessert. And then to kind of make it fancy, she added the mushroom at the end. Kind of a bummer.
Buttercream and mushrooms are two of my favorite things, probably.
Absolutely. You're preaching.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That being said, I truly cannot imagine them together.
And I would venture to say, if there was a savory buttercream of some sort, like some sort of like
sure
buttercream or something, awesome. I would try that. But
throwing a mushroom on at the last minute, like it's an herb, also feels crazy.
That was maybe one of the wildest things I've seen. And
yeah, it to me, it feels like being like, oh, 30 seconds left. I gotta put
yeah, like putting like a sprig of basil or something on top. Like
yeah. I'm like, oh, I gotta put a pork chop on top of this because it's last minute.
I have to put a bagel sandwich on top.
It's just like, what do you mean? It feels so
Primavera goes on top of it. Yeah, it was kind of goofy. Okay, so then Joe made a mushroom and arugula Texas toast with espelette and paprika. That sounded good to me.
Sounds good. I like espelette a lot.
I don't know if I've had it. Jackson made shrimp toast with balsamic chili jam. That sounded awesome. Jordan has sort of a visceral response to Jackson that they recognize is based on maybe nothing more than Jackson's smile.
Absolutely. Jackson, for some reason, every time he does anything, I'm like, wipe that smug look off your face. It's just crazy because I don't think he has a smug look. He seems nice. He's done nothing wrong so far. I have no clue like what happened to me and Jackson in a past life that made it.
At him. I don't remember what he looks like. Let me see him. Jackson. Top. Oh wait, I liked him so much.
I like him. Jordan.
He's the one with the rosy cheeks who was like nervous.
I'm wrong, like fully. Like I'm here, and every time I say this, I'm wrong. I'm for some reason like waiting for him to be bad.
Well, he is a man, and we don't like. They usually end up bad.
And so you have the backstory. Wild story is that Jackson had COVID shortly before coming on the show and lost his sense of smell, right? Smell or taste?
I think both. And he got taste back, but he still doesn't have a sense of smell.
Okay, he doesn't have a sense of smell, and he did mention that in every single episode, and and he would continue to like kind of do very well. So it was like, damn, without your sense of smell too, that's wild.
Yeah, I think there were just some moments where I think once again, the Eurocentric thing always bothers me. I just think that it's like, I don't know, once again, obviously I don't actually hate Europe. That's a bit. I've been to a lot of like beautiful parts of Europe and there's a lot of great culture and also not everyone is white.
Come at you in the comments.
What? No one's coming at me. I'm just, covering my bases, and I know that not everyone is white in Europe, but I do think like white Eurocentric culture in Europe has dominated.
Who cares? It's dominated. Who cares?
Oh my God, has dominated the food world for so long that I feel like, he was one of the people that would go into something. He'd be like, oh, I've never had Indian food before or whatever, like that kind of energy where I'm like, that is so embarrassing on national TV. You're a famous chef. You own a restaurant and you've never had Indian food.
You should be embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed.
And in front of me while I'm watching.
Embarrassing. Very embarrassing. And Reka brought up such a good point that I had, like, she brought it up in such a smart way of like, you would never say, I've never had French food. I've never had Italian food. Like as a chef, if you
like this, you would be mortified. Everyone would look at you like you're stupid.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you're like, I've never had Thai food, I've never had Filipino food, I've never had Indian food, people are just like, oh yeah, of course you haven't, because why would you? And I'm like, I don't know. It's so embarrassing.
We could talk your little.
No, I'm with you now. I didn't know that about him, and now I'm.
No, this is not even about him. He's done literally nothing. This is my fault.
I don't.
My fault.
Actually, very ironically, this little figurine of the Eiffel Tower just fell down as we were talking.
That's a ghost, Reka. That's
literally a French ghost.
Also, as I've said, I have been dumped in Paris 2 separate times. So that's something to also keep in mind.
Twice? My God.
I know.
I had a tough time in Paris because dairy is tough for me. And I ate a lot of it there. And it was really tough for my little belly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's have bottom of the pack here, Luke and Monique. And on the top, we got Nick, Joe, and Jackson. And the winner was Nick, which was nice. He had been in kind of the middle for a little bit and was doing really cool stuff. And Nick, as a backstory, Ariel, has a lot of like cute little things. Someone will be like, whoa, what's the spice on that? He's like, that's Nick's 25 spice blend. Like, it's very cute. Or like last week, he had something, he's like, this is my whatever dish with frog jam. And frog jam was like 4 different fruits. And he's like, I'm calling it frog jam.
Wait, okay. I love him. He did say the 25 spice thing in this episode too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love him.
And his toast was that was most Texas toast. And it looked really good. It looked like I would like to eat it.
Yes.
I think he always, from what we've seen from him, he has always honored the challenge.
Yes. Oh, Nick's 26. That's what it was. Yes, I agree.
Always.
I love people that can honor and run away with the challenge. They like relish in an opportunity to kind of be creative with it.
Yes.
Okay, so the elimination challenge, as we know, in this sort of confusingly formatted episode, is to make brisket, barbecue, and smoke some brisket. So we get varying degrees of comfort with that, of course. Jay brings up like Korean barbecue is a much different type of barbecue. Some people haven't used these big pits and things before. The dishes that we get, Ashley makes a kind of a play on chicken and slicks, like a chicken and dumplings, and makes kitchen pepper rubbed brisket, sweet potato sticks, and cream of collard soup. Now, let's go. Let's get into this. I don't know that this is a brisket dish.
I don't think it's a brisket dish. I'm also like, I'm still a little confused by, so it was a cream of collard soup?
Yes. And I honestly,
I
with
don't even think the
dumpling?
brisket, I don't even think the brisket was like part of the
was
soup.
just
I think
baked.
there was just like kind of a big piece of brisket
There
in
was.
the bowl with it.
Now that I'm looking at it, were there no dumplings, like the slicks? Were those the sweet potato sticks? Yeah, sweet potato slicks. Sorry. Yes.
See. That's also so interesting. I've never heard them referred to as slicks.
Me either. I'd never heard that.
And I will say, I don't like the idea of using sweet potato instead of like a dumpling dough, because I think that dough serves a very good purpose in a chicken and dumplings dish that sweet potato to me is not serving in this.
I hear what you're saying. I feel like I can't knock it until I try it, because there is a version of it where I'm like,
Is it like sweet, creamy, and then smoky? Maybe.
Yeah, like if something else is like spicy in it, but I'm like, chicken and dumplings, to me, this all feels like its own thing. Chicken and dumplings is very much its own entire dish. Brisket is its own entire dish. And then a collard green soup is a third dish. So it feels like three dishes piled on top of each other. Chicken and dumplings already, like maybe even it's just the wording, like maybe if it was like chicken and dumplings inspired or something,
exactly.
but.
And if you're doing chicken and dumplings and like the brisket is supposed to be the chicken, I kind of want like, a lot of pieces of chicken in there with a lot of dumplings. Not
That's
like,
what the judges had a tough time with it too. Because it was just like a big chunk in the soup.
Totally.
Yeah, very weird.
Very weird. Then Jackson made brisket stuffed scarpinoc with cornbread crumbles and a barbecue sauce. This looked fucking
that looked really good to me. The cornbread crumbles really nailed it. And I love pasta, like, and ravioli that's like stuffed with stuff.
And I
also barbecue was like beurre blanc meets barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Or no, it was what is there another type of beurre sauce? It wasn't beurre blanc.
Bernaise.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Either way, sounds good.
It sounds great. And I appreciated that he was like, because this is a brisket challenge, this type of pasta has a lot of filling to dough ratio. Appreciate it. Thank you. I want a lot of filling. Okay, Nick made smoked brisket with carrot puree, harissa barbecue sauce, pork neck, and collard green gremolata.
This sounds good.
I would definitely eat it. The carrot puree does not really excite me, but it looked really beautiful.
Good. A little smear. Beurre rouge, is that a thing? Might be. Okay, Tamara made smoked brisket with candied yams, braised cabbage, Worcestershire consomme, and jardiniere.
Oh, this looks good. I love jardiniere.
This sounds good. I thought it looked like a plate from 1972.
It looked like an airplane food dish.
It looked gross to me. It looked like glazed carrots, yada, yada, yada. But I would eat it based on the description. Luke made brisket with onion barbecue sauce, coriander and lime stem salad, and pickled red onions. This looked so good.
Onion.
This looked so good.
That's how that makes me feel.
I love onion.
I love onion. Drop it in the chat if you love onion.
This is, if I can just touch on what Elaine is saying, I do think this is true. Elaine was like, here's another examination of Jackson. And he'll be like, I'm being so weird. I'm doing a pasta. I'm crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I agree with that, Elaine.
Interesting. I haven't gotten that vibe, but I'm sure now I'll see it.
He was like, everyone's gonna be real mad at me because I'm stuffing the brisket into pasta. And I'm like, literally, nobody cares.
Okay, Amy has confirmed it was a beurre rouge, which I had never heard of before.
Oh, the same as beurre blanc, but with red wine.
Okay, I'll have some tonight.
Yeah, I'll drink some.
I'll drink them. Monique made smoked brisket with onion soubise, confit potatoes, and brioche with a bone marrow honey glaze on top of that brioche.
That sounds.
I've read this on a menu. Yum.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
But I gotta say, it's very French. It's fine.
Boo.
When I see those tiny circles of potatoes, I get scared. I get scared because they don't look seasoned to me. And I have to believe they are. I have to believe they're fully cooked and I have to believe they're seasoned. And lo and behold, they weren't seasoned. That's all I have to say. Okay.
Heard.
Jay made Cajun style barbecue brisket, grits, cherry tomato kimchi, and Asian pear relish. I don't even have a I have to try this.
Yeah.
I mean, I love when people, like, when all the pieces just feel like they should go together. The vision is just so clearly executed.
And what a cool translation of like her thing is Korean food in New Orleans, I believe, like Cajun Korean food. So it was kind of cool she could work that her kind of already intersection of cooking with another intersection of like brisket and barbecue. Very cool.
That is so cool to be able to make Korean / other area inspired.
Incredible to know
meals.
How to cook anything.
True.
Evelyn made brisket curry with aromatic rice, pickled vegetables, and burnt end crumble. Now, I don't support calling it aromatic rice, but I love this.
Can I ask why? Because I actually got a little chill down my spine when you said that.
Okay, sorry. The idea that you're leading with the aroma, we know this. When it comes to long grain rice, I'm not here.
Absolutely.
I left. I'm gone. I've eaten too much of it. I hit my lifetime maximum. This looks like a longer grain rice. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Come at me. I want to know what the seasoning is. I don't want to know what the smell is.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, that's my only thought. Okay, but they made a barbecue beef bourguignon with barbecue beef fat, potato croquette, onion jam, and beet puddles.
This sounds good, but now we're getting to too many puns. I say never mind.
This, honestly, it almost looks like a piece of chocolate cake.
Yes.
It looks really decadent. And he also went a French route with it. Similar to me. Okay. Joe made brisket pappardelle with harissa, cabbage, and corn. Now, I have a thought. Now, I would certainly try this. I especially want that cabbage and corn slaw. When Joe was talking in the beginning about what she's going to season her brisket with, and she said harissa, I was kind of like, oh, because I like harissa, but harissa doesn't necessarily, to me, bring a thing I expect with like barbecue or smoking. So I was just surprised.
I guess it.
Hey,
I don't know.
Give it me. I don't care.
It looked good to me. I guess, yeah, I wouldn't picture harissa with brisket, but I also don't know what I'm talking about. I also love in the chat people talking about Evelyn winning. I was so nervous for her because I know that feeling of like, I don't know, like when I can only compare it to like when I was in high school and I was like a theater kid, and like the theater that I like spent all my time outside of school, like came to my school and did a workshop with us. And I was like so nervous, and I would always end up like being the worst person there. So I was so nervous for her because I could tell that she like felt that way, and so happy that she won.
Yes, I'm very
such a good example because I do know that feeling.
So on top in the at judges table, both the Evelyn and Jackson. Evelyn won. We love that, especially she's a hometown, favorite. Bottom was Monique, Ashley, and Joe. I gotta say, I thought for sure it would be Monique, but we said goodbye to Ashley. I'm glad we didn't say goodbye to Joe.
Yeah, I think Ashley could maybe even bring it back in Last Chance Kitchen. Yeah. Who knows? I thought Ashley
excited. Her whole thing is making Appalachian food. I want to see that.
Absolutely. But I do think she's fallen short the last few challenges, which is very sad to admit. Yes. But I think that in this group, she was the weakest in this challenge. So just by fairness, she's got to go home. But I was sad to see her go.
Yes.
I felt sad, even though I've only known her for this one episode.
That's what's beautiful about your compassion and your empathy.
Yeah, you're an empath.
Now, Ariel, if you had to prepare brisket, like what is your favorite way to eat it or prepare it if you ever make it? Do you have a fave?
Okay, I am not trusted to make brisket, but I ate it a lot growing up on Passover, actually, so this is timely because it's almost Passover. But my mom would make it in like a big clay pot that had a top on it, and it would just go in the oven for like hours and hours.
Yeah.
It was always very good, and you would just have it with like, so I think I would make a classic like Passover Jewish inspired dish with like maybe I'd make like a matzah crumble of some sort, go with it, or
Yum.
We always had just like roasted carrots that were just like in it, and it was really good.
Yum. Okay,
Anyways,
love that.
thanks.
Well, Ariel, is there anything you want to plug? Social media, shows, anything?
I'm on everything at Ariel Gitlin, and I would be thrilled to come watch the show again. And so, thank you for having me.
Oh my God, we'd love to have you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Follow me on socials. I make a lot of TikToks where it's just sort of me looking at the camera being confused. So that's fun.
What we're all doing.
There's actually one thing I'm not confused about, and that's that there's a Bravo producer here that just kind of told me, I'm allowed to talk?
Yep.
You are Top Chef.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pack my knives.
You don't
Yes.
have to recognize and go.
A lot of people don't know this, but there's actually 2 ways to become a top chef. One of them is to compete on the Bravo reality cooking competition show Top Chef and win. And the other is to guest on this specific YouTube live stream show for charity hosted by Reka and me.
Oh my God. And I definitely did the more fun one, and where I didn't even have to cook.
And guess what? Either way, an Indian woman's going to tell you you're Top Chef, so you don't got to worry.
Exactly.
You don't worry.
Oh my God, I'm so lucky.
You're so lucky. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Ariel, thanks so much for being on the show. And we'll freaking